Let's rock and roll, y'all. We got to push through. We got individuals here who have to come up for public comment. Chair recognizes Councilmember Kendra Brooks, then Councilman Ketty Lozada, then Member Isaiah Thomas. Okay.
It's my turn, you said?
Let's say Councilmember Kendra
Oh,
Brooks,
I'm sorry.
then Councilmember Lozada, then Member Isaiah Thomas.
I got you. I'm
Squiller's in the queue, so when he come back, actually it's his turn, but he's not here now, so go ahead, Member
all right.
Brooks.
Thank you. So, one thing I'm deeply concerned about is what transition support is going to look like for parents. This information is a key part of any closure plan, and I have not been able to get direct answers about what this will look like. If you are planning on taking a vote to close schools, this needs to be in place and talked about with parents, because they will have questions as soon as any closure is voted on. And I want to know what is the portfolio of work would look like from the district, and this includes, I have a series of questions. Who within the school district will be assigned to this work? What support will be given to parents? Will the support be accessible to people who work for a living? What will the district be doing to accommodate families with children who have IEPs? And how will this team work with council members, given our office will be hearing directly from communities about the impact of our constituents, the impact from our constituents?
Just before Dr. Wallington answers, just as a reminder, whenever the resolution comes before the Board of Education, it will not be a resolution to close schools. It'll be a resolution to set off a process mandated by law where there will be school closures at some future juncture, just for information's sake. But Dr. Wallington, please answer the question. Yes.
Thank you, President Streeter and Councilmember Brooks. I'd say two things. First, the district is already organized into learning networks, geographic learning networks, to push resources closer to parents and families. We did that a couple of years ago. Number two, in addition to assistant superintendents, the people who supervise schools in their respective learning networks, we are going to staff up a transition office that will report out of my office. Remember, unlike 2012-13, where schools were closed, and the savings came not so much from just closing the schools, but more of the savings came from the personnel costs, the salaries of teachers, principals, counselors, social work, climate managers, et cetera. We are taking some of those resources and moving them with children, and we're taking some of those resources to staff up a dedicated transition office that will be located right out of my office. I will personally be working with that team and the leadership in that team. Once we get some direction from the board of where to go, that staff team will be staffed up pretty quickly. What supports will they provide? It will be a one-stop shop for whatever parents need. They need help with tutoring, transportation, school visits, get to know you activities, social and emotional and anxiety support and help. Whatever is needed, we will make sure that happens, and that team will make sure that in transition, individualized education plans are followed to the letter.
Okay, so I have a follow-up from that question, particularly as it relates to students with disabilities and special needs. One of the things that I feel like needs to be answered is to understand how support staff in schools will be affected by these potential closures, and what will this look like, and will they be able to follow their students? And were these trade-offs part of your calculations, and can you speak to the data behind it?
By federal law, individualized education plans require that resources and supports follow student. Councilmember Kendra Brooks has a child who leaves from school A to go to school B, and your child has speech language, well, I won't use speech language, I'll use speech language. Speech language support 3 days a week for 1 hour, those supports would travel with you. And this team would help make sure, in addition to the very fine work that our Office of Special Education and Diverse Learners is already doing, there'll be an extra layer to make sure nothing falls through the crack.
Can I get a brief point of information on that line of questioning? I'll be real brief. So the students from Lankenau, and I had no idea you had blind and deaf students that attend that school, so that was new information to me. How would there be a seamless transition to the new school, I guess what you saw in terms of accommodating the deaf and blind children?
I'm sorry, say that, I didn't quite hear you, Mr. President.
I thought I was clear. Did anybody else hear what I was saying?
I did not hear you.
Oh,
I did,
no, I
not
was
that I
just-
don't understand you,
sorry,
I
sir.
can't hear.
There are deaf and blind students that attend Lankenau,
Yes.
right? And they're going to go to Saul, right? It's the same line of questioning I'm following up with in regards to Member Brooks. What has the preliminary work has been done for that seamless transition of deaf and blind students for Saul?
Number one, we've identified staff that I will not speak to on the record yet, who will assist me specifically in that transition. Number two, we built into the calendar a full year of planning so that there are no hiccups, missteps, or faux pas, if you will. And number three, we've been very intentional for the 17, former 20, current 17 schools that are on the current list of recommendations to President Streeter and his board. We've mapped out what the student population looks like. The fact that we're not talking about it on the record, we don't want to get ahead of the process.
Okay. Now, it was just a new perspective,
Yes,
but I wasn't expecting regarding that conversation on that particular school in terms of
Yes, sir.
children with disabilities. Briefly wrap up for us when you get a chance, Member Brooks.
Yes, just because you make me, so when you talk about that there's a plan, so are we taking consideration, and I'm thinking about some of the districts, my council colleagues who have multiple elementary schools that are closing in their district that may have special needs support or special ed support in some kind of plan. Are we accounting for where these children going so it's not an overflow or influx of certain children with various disabilities in the same classroom? Or like, is it going to be a clear transition path like that, not to influx certain schools with additional children with special needs support that we aren't able to accommodate? And I'm thinking about children with neurodivergent issues and so behavior issues and all that. I'm like, is there any consideration taken, especially, I want to think about in like, I think the 5th and the 7th district, where it's like a high influx of young people, young children in those schools that will be transitioning and moving around, and do we have a plan for that? Because the staffing ratio and the class size and the staffing support is very key, and some of those children need to have this, they don't work well with transitions. So what is it? So it can't be an afterthought. That's what I'm saying. It can't be an afterthought when we're moving multiple kids into a same class without the adequate support. And I just don't want us to be moving quickly and then our kids will be lost and stuck.
Yes, ma'am. Your point is well taken, and you're absolutely correct. Whether it's children with neurodivergent issues, specific language, specific learning disabled, or children with mobility issues, we're thoughtfully working through how to make sure that balls do not get dropped with children. In addition to the Learning Network offices, the office that reports out of my office has all of those issues related to specifically related to students with disabilities. We have an eye toward children who qualify for English language learner status. And we're looking in communities that have very high concentrations of poverty, how to have that extra touch and not just leave things to chance for any of our children.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Chair recognizes Councilmember Squilla. I'm going to take a moment of personal privilege just to adjust one small part of public comment. So, Member Squilla, you go ahead and you have some constituents that's going to be a part of your line of questioning. And so, Member Streeter, Mr. President, and School Superintendent Wallington, could y'all ask your questions first, and then we'll have State Representative Elizabeth Fielder to come sit inside the dais with her.
Thank you, Mr. President. And My questions are, and I first want to thank you for your willingness to meet with State Rep Fielder, myself, and Senator Saval's office on the concerns of Southwark and what it means. We have students that are here today. I believe they were sitting upstairs. They're here in the back now. And hearing there's concerns, and I want to thank you for also listening and hearing there's concerns. But please give them a round of applause for coming to join us here. They have shared with us the challenges of going to school, trying to learn, in a school that is probably one of the best examples of how diversity can build a great way to educate individuals, and have to feel like they have to hold in going to the bathroom until they get home because of some of the challenges that were mentioned earlier in our hearing and testimony. And I want to thank you for your willingness to look at reassessing these schools, and I know that President Streeter and Dr. Watlington, you agreed to look at the plumbing that really wasn't part of the original assessment, to really show what we can do immediately to address that. And we all know that temporary bathrooms is not the answer to have that. It's great that that is a consideration in the meantime. But the other issue is, beside the agreement to reassess the criteria of what Southwark, the needs are, and need-based to do that, the modernization plan that comes to 2032 and 33. The school is in immediate need of the bathrooms, but also the remediation and the removal of the rodent issue that's in the school. When you have young kids in the classrooms that feel uncomfortable whether eating in the cafeteria or in the classroom doing reading time, and they see a mouse or something run by them, it's really hard to learn. And I want to give the principal, the teachers, the staff, and everybody at that school for really doing an outstanding job to put up with these challenges and yet still be able to succeed academically. And these kids that have been, they're brilliant minds, and they're out there now advocating for cleaner places and cleaner bathrooms, and actually working bathrooms so that they could learn better. What are we doing in immediate? And we talked about the summer coming up. What are we doing in immediate to address the plumbing issues, the bathrooms that go down? I know that it's easier to get new fixtures and toilets, urinals, and doors for these bathrooms. And will this be completed before the beginning of the next school year?
Two things. Thank you, Councilman Musquilla. I'll say two things. One, we are exploring how quickly we can get significant improvements made at Southwark, in particular through the capital improvement budget, ahead of that timeline with the facilities plan. Two, the team is looking at that 2031, 32 date to see what the options for moving that up are. And three, there's a state grant afoot related to how to do this. With the capital improvement plan, we put ourselves on an expedited timeline, not to wait to the third week in May, but sometime within the next week to 10 days, we should be able to have a clear answer in terms of a timeline about how soon that can be done and whether it can be done over or by the summer. The last time I was at Southwark, I believe with Principal Lukov, I thought Southwark was interesting in that you have those two big restrooms in the basement. So it's a unique, interesting design. The team has gone in and gone underground to flush out some things. But when you've got old infrastructure, you flush out one thing, you don't know what you're going to find next. And even when you clean those places really well, when you get urine and things that's just kind of stuck in the floor, you got to rip that stuff out, just like a very old house, and just redo it. Please know that we will do everything we can to expedite those problems as quickly as we can. And we'll give you a more definitive timeline. I don't want to sit here and give you an artificial deadline that we've not been able to confirm that we absolutely can do it just yet. But we're moving as quick as we can. I promise you we'll follow up.
And I know you've committed to working with an advisory committee set up with the school to discuss that, and hopefully by May 20th, 22nd, there's an assessment evaluation done that you had said. But also, like this summer, it's really important, and I know that we have talked, and most likely now there's not going to be any activity within the school, to do like a really full clean that school from top to bottom, so that when the staffers come in there, they could start at a clean facility instead of trying to catch up on everything that's happening. I know you put a new fire alarm system in there, some electrical work that is going on, but these challenges that the students face, and we all agree, and nobody expects a student to have to go through these things while they're learning. So this also comes from deferred maintenance and challenges that we put off in the past. And so we want to make sure when we're talking about modernization and some of that questions, that this isn't modernization. This is
Absolutely.
making
Absolutely.
school functional, right? And I know Councilmember O'Rourke, Councilmember Landau, myself, along with other council members, are down there with State Rep Fiedler and Senator Savala's office. So this is a united push, and we want to help. Like, we're not here just to throw blame and do it, but we want to help weather the resources. And I know Rep Fiedler is going to have a couple things to say. But I think it's really important to know that as they advocate for this, and as the students, the teachers, the parents advocate, the frustration level is so high. So we have to expect that when things don't go right and we don't meet these things, we have really nothing to hold the school district to, because we don't have any dates of when these are going to be done, not yet. But we want to make sure that they have clear signals of what's going to happen from now until the next school year, and then clear signals of what's going to happen as far as modernization.
Absolutely.
So I just want to ask one quick question before we bring somebody else on, and it's about Hackett. There's just a new decision that came out on Hackett, creating Hackett from K to 5, going to K to 8. This decision was just proposed Monday, and I understand it's going to be voted on Thursday. You know, I think the reaction is it good or bad or indifferent? Just challenges. We don't know what the plan is. We don't know. The facility is already full. We have a lot of classrooms that take care of people with different abilities. And we want to make sure that the school could handle this change and the challenges that go along with that. But without a plan, just an announcement without a plan, we're getting inundated with concerns. And we need to make sure that the district and the board understand that and really have to be able to give that plan. You announce it on Monday, possibly voting on the ability to do these things on Thursday, but nobody has any idea of how that would play out.
Let me just, I want to make sure that we didn't get something wrong. You were supportive, you wanted us to make some modifications relative to Moffitt that related to this?
Well, no, this was Hackett.
Correct.
Hackett School went to a K to 8.
I think this was part of the desire not to have Moffitt as a middle school. Did we get that part?
Yes.
Was that, we were correct in that
Yes.
understanding?
So as you correct something, you create another issue,
Right.
right? So,
Sure.
and as you create another issue, it may be a solution, but
Sure.
nobody knows what the plan is. Like,
Sure.
you fix the one thing, but by fixing one thing and making something else, nobody understands the process, that's a challenge. So if we could see what that full plan is there money being put into Hackett? Is there going to be an extension? How are they going to use the rooms that are currently used?
I want to make sure that you get an answer. If you allow me to bring either Deputy Superintendent Hill or Senior Advisor Landau to the dais, I'd like them to have at least 45 seconds to just give them a quick, high-level answer to that.
A quick update, and then maybe a meeting or an understanding of so we could share that with our constituents. That, you know, when I get 50, 60 emails overnight, and we want to be able to at least give them an answer, I could ask the school district, but
Sure.
that's not a good answer.
And for the record, that's the appropriations chairman for city council.
Senior Advisor Claire Landau, our Senior Advisor.
Excuse me, I have a point of information, Member Lozada.
Councilmember Scola, I just want a point of information. The Hackett-Moffitt-Ludlow conversation kind of all was going all together with the families and parents of all three of those schools. And so I know, I want to make sure that I put that on the record, because I don't want people to think that the school district made that decision overnight on their own. It was a conversation that we have had with community parents of the three schools, because I think all three of them were impacted by the original recommendation that they made. So I just wanted to put that on the record.
Thank you. Please respond.
Good afternoon. Claire Landau, Senior Advisor for Strategic Planning. Thank you for the question, Councilmember Squilla. This is, as you had said, a result of the change in the recommendation regarding Hackett and Moffett. Originally, the recommendation was to merge the catchments of the two schools so that students in both schools would go to the Hackett building for K through 4, and then Moffett for 5 through 8. Of course, we had heard strong concern from the Moffett community, but I think as you've seen and had seen, we had received a lot of strong support from the Hackett community. And I think the outreach is in part the concern in a change. The recommendation, though, will mean that Hackett will grow to become K through 8. We have taken the funding that would have gone for the Moffett, for some portions of the Moffett facilities upgrade to facilitate its transition to a middle school, and reallocated that to Hackett so that the Hackett facility will have the upgrades necessary to make those changes. And we will certainly be coming out to the community to have meetings and to speak with them about how this will work. It will be happening in partnership with the community, so we'll have a planning year, and then it will grow 1 year at a time. So it will be a very slow phase-in that we'll do with the community, do certainly with you, in partnership with you.
Would this be done before the vote?
The meeting, or
Yeah, the
what
meeting
portion?
so the students, so the people understand what the plan is, because that's part of the challenge. The plan was just released on Monday, and they're voting Thursday, and nobody knows. I didn't even know that the funding was being switched from Moffett to Hackett.
In full transparency, again, I think whenever this resolution goes before the board, things aren't going to instantaneously happen, right? There is some thought to
Can I get a point of information? Sir,
Happy.
I think what member
I wanted to put a little more meat on the bone if I could.
Squilla's
please.
referring to, I'm gonna let you respond, because we deal with this in the legislative process as well. Like, we'll introduce a bill and then there's a hearing, and then we'll go through the legislative process of getting feedback and so forth and decide if we're gonna vote on the initiative or not. So I'm sure you were going into that same direction, meaning just because it's introduced doesn't mean, go ahead, sir.
Yes, so there's a resolution that gives direction from the board to the district, not just to do the plan, but that for there to be schedules and connections with proposed closures, consolidations, relocations, mergers, reconfigurations, openings, and name changes to provide ample time for what needs to happen. So I understand there's a feeling of we have to, kind of get what we need to get in before the vote, before the resolution. But the way this is designed is to really try to lean on the district by way of the board to ensure that these things are thought of before we move down the road. And I'm going to be honest about something else too. The Clayton Center is half the size it should be. Senior Advisor Landau is the one who is the principal, implementer around Accelerate Philly. So the longer that we have her kind of do this, which is fine, her ability to focus on student achievement through Accelerate Philly is false. So I think one of the tensions that I think as the board president I feel comfortable saying here is, I think we have the staff, the time and resources to come up with contingency plans for 6 or 7, 8 iterations of a plan, we would have done it. But I think we're the type of school district where unfortunately we have to have planning years. And the superintendent needs a direction from the board that before I marshal all of these resources, I need to know what direction I'm going in the event that the Board of Education or whoever else is unwilling to do it. And I think that's the elephant in the room that, I'm not happy to talk about because it is a huge weakness of the school district. We've seen it in other ways, right? We'll say, hey, we'll work on it, but where are the plans? Where are the plans? But some of the same people, Chief Superintendent Oz Hill, has like 60,000 hats on his head right now, right? So often when you ask Dr. Wallington or the staff to do something, they have to kind of put aside the work that has to keep going as the car continues to go 1,000,000 miles down the field. The best thing that I could do with this resolution as the board president and the board, if it was to approve it, was to put language in it that dictates the type of things that you've raised, that others have raised, to ensure that Dr. Watlington, as we continue on what is in the document, and it says, this is a quote, "a living plan," is implemented with fidelity. Dr. Watlington has done it with Accelerate Philly. He's done it with other techniques. So I do have the faith and confidence that Dr. Watlington, post a vote on a resolution that triggers a process for things that are yet to occur, will be able to think this thing through.
I have faith in Dr. Watlington and the board and everybody in the process. It's just when a change happens and nobody knows it, then they see a vote on it. They see that they don't know. And they see that it wasn't done and they didn't take their input into consideration, right? So it's already voted on, it's already done. And we can say what we want. I mean, people don't believe politicians to begin with, right? So we tell them things and you're telling them things for a specific reason, right? Just to get past a certain point. But I could say, yeah, we voted on it, but we're going to work with you and we'll change it later. It just doesn't sit well. I trust you and I believe you're going to do the right thing, but it's still, this challenge is that we need to make sure that the people have the input in the process. They don't have to agree with the final result and they don't have to agree with what you finally decide, but they should be part of that process.
So I'm going to take a moment of personal privilege and ask for State Representative Elizabeth Fielder to come to the podium.
She could come here.
And whatever guests you want to bring with you, Elizabeth Fielder. It's going to just be yourself?
It's actually the students I have who are speaking. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right, so if the three students could please come up, I'll just say briefly, I'm State Rep Elizabeth Fiedler. I would like to thank City Council. I feel a bit like I've been summoned to the principal's office hearing my name, a bit of nerves. But thank you, Council President Johnson. Thank you so much to Councilman Squilla and to every member of City Council who has heard what these students have had to say about the building conditions in their school, and they are here today just to make their voices heard. So thank you so much for giving them a warm welcome in Philadelphia City Hall.
Hello, my name is Valerie Flores, and I'm a 7th grader at Southwark. I'm here today because of the conditions of our school bathrooms. They suck. Next year will be my last year there, and I have not seen much changes in the 7 years I have been there. I'm not gonna lie, I like the school teachers. They're nice, some classmates are cool, but what I don't like is that me and my school have to practically beg for better bathrooms. Before I even got here, my classmates even said, "Tell them to fix our bathrooms." I shouldn't be here asking for, I should be here asking for more things on the school playground or things for the blacktop. But instead I'm here asking for decent bathrooms. Bathrooms. I seriously have to go out of school and go all the way here for decent bathrooms. How would you feel if every day you had to worry about the toilet flooding? Having to ask a friend to keep the door closed for you because the doors won't lock. A bathroom that smells repulsive. Worrying there isn't a working soap dispenser. Like I've already said, I shouldn't have to be asking for this. You said before the school is overpopulated, so please use those funds to fix our bathrooms. I'm still upset that some things that are going to fix our school that are going to come in 2032. A while ago, we had like a faculty meeting at Southwark, and there was a mother with a 4-year-old kid, and they said their kid would be in my grade by the time that year comes. I have a petition that 300 students signed. Who can I give this to?
Thank you. Just say your name and please begin your testimony.
Hi, my name is Aurora, and I'm a Southwark student. We students should be learning, not searching for a clean bathroom, nor fearing insects. I love my school. I enjoy the diversity and the activities. However, today I came to talk about a problem we have been facing, the restrooms and the insects. In one occasion, the drain became clogged and it began to let out dirty water, and that section of the restroom flooded. Can you imagine what it's like to have to walk on water, fearing that your shoes might get dirty or that you might fall into the water filled with waste and bacteria? Now imagine how difficult it must be for the little children. No child should ever have to go through that. But you know what? We didn't even have to imagine it because we lived it. On another occasion, the cockroaches weren't just in the bathrooms, but also in the classrooms, to the point my classmates had to lift their feet up because a cockroach was in the classroom and was right underneath them. Today we bring together our small voices to be heard and to bring a great change into our school. Thank you.
Thank you. Please say your name and begin.
Hi, my name is Olivia Quaresma, and I'm in 5th grade. I love so many things about Southwark: our diversity, the Spanish immersion program, my classes, my teachers, and of course my friends. Ironically, Southwark has a really big problem, and it's urgent. It's been going on for a while now. There's literal sewage coming up from the floors. We can't cover up the lack of soap, lack of paper towels, broken stall doors, the awful smell, or the amount of lost class time it takes for us to walk around the school just looking for a place to pee. Some of us choose to wait until we get home to use the bathroom. This isn't fair and it isn't right. The pipes need to be fixed so water sewage doesn't come up from the floors. Please get us doors, get us soap. I want you to understand that this is really serious. You want us to have good attendance, to do well on our tests, but we also need basic things like clean and working bathrooms that we don't have to walk around up and down the stairs to find. We need a solution for now, not in 2032. Thank you for your time.
I know y'all ain't asking these kids no questions, are y'all? But we thank you for your leadership. Thank you for being here, for speaking truth to power. Thank you very much. Chair recognizes Councilmember Isaiah. No, I'm sorry. She pressed the button. It's Lozada, then Isaiah Thomas, then Councilmember Young. Then we're officially out of that first round.
Thank you, Council President. Good afternoon. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. Before I begin, I want to shout out Claire Landau and Colonel Oshill for their work through the facilities plan and your consistent communication with the parents of all of the schools that were on the closure list in the 7th Council District, but very specifically the Moffitt parents who were very, very, very engaged, asked a lot of questions, and really showed up for their children and their community. So thank you very much for your work and for your patience with them. I just have a few questions, and my questions are really based on some of the things that I heard this morning. I guess my first question is, I understand that you guys are new and you were in there when the COVID relief dollars came in and had maybe very little decision-making in how it was spent, but when you all arrived and when you were considering, Dr. Waddington, I guess when you were considering the position, President Streeter, when you were considering becoming a part of the board, did anyone ask for, or has the school district done an independent audit of your expenditures? And if so, can you speak to what that audit says? Can you share that audit with council? And if not, why?
We have an annual audit of all district expenditures. We do annual audits of school budgets as well. I can tell you that we've had clean audits with no opinions, modified opinions, which is a good thing. And I believe we post some feedback relative to those audits every time we take them before the Board of Education annually.
But
So
it's an audit that is done internally, correct?
No, this is an external audit.
Okay. Okay.
By virtue of audit, it means someone else comes in to look at the books, because we would not want that to be an internal, although the board also has an internal audit function as well. So we've got a dual system going there. We can send for the record when those was publicly shared, because we do it in open session. It's a public review of the audit annually, and we'll be sure to share that for the record. I'll ask Chief Herbson if he'll get that to the council.
If you could share that, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. Happy
And
to.
then,
We've actually had some
We-
commendations from the national auditing firms as well.
okay, thank you for that. You mentioned earlier the 20 vacant buildings that the school district owns or has. Are they still in your inventory, or have you already transitioned them in a disposition process after the board voted?
The board passed a resolution that triggered the process for the superintendent to recommend conveyances of those facilities to the city. That process is ongoing.
Why, can you tell me why we didn't consider the sale of these properties? When I looked at, when my staff did some research, there was an estimated value of $80 million for those 20 parcels that could have created a ongoing tax revenue that could have been paid to the city and then in return to the school district. Why did we not consider the sale of those properties through an RFP process?
There is no RFP process. It is recommendations contingent upon Dr. Watlington doing his due diligence. So right now, nothing has been conveyed at this time, but there is a resolution that directs Dr. Watlington to do his due diligence, which includes things that you just mentioned as it relates to the benefit to the district and other uses of that nature. So we're kind of premature in that space as it relates to what's going to actually happen to them. But it's not just a clean convey. There's some things the board wanted to see first.
You guys have some vacant properties, they're not structures, they're just land. I know one is on York and Dolphin, for instance. That doesn't look like it's moved anywhere, but we have had several people that have expressed interest in that parcel. Are there other spaces that don't have structures that the school district owns that you would consider to sell in order to reduce your deficit?
Staff doesn't have any additional updates on that at this time, but we're happy to take anything that you want us to look into for homework. But we don't have any new updates at this time, any particular updates at this time.
Thank you. And then my last question is, President Streeter, I know that Majority Leader asked you yesterday, she asked you today, and I recognize that you said you needed to go to the board. That's understandable, right? But would you support a motion to hold the vote in order for us to continue to have conversations in good faith and truly demonstrate that we are working in partnership? I asked that question not to put you on the spot, because that's not what I want to do. I asked that question because one of the first questions I was asked after this morning's session was, the administration, the legislative body, and the school district all look like you're fighting against each other. This doesn't look like you are our partners here. And the word partnership and collaboration has been said multiple times throughout the day yesterday as well as in today. And I really believe that we are here to work together in the best interest of the children and families in the communities that we represent. I believe that you guys are there to do good as well, right? I believe your hearts are in the right place. But what people are seeing as they are watching us on 64 or in this space, it looks like we are at odds with each other. And my explanation to them was, this is politics, right? There has to be a give and take. This is a negotiation process. We don't hate each other. No one is angry with anybody in here. Are we frustrated? Absolutely. I think all of us are in our place to be frustrated. But I think that we have to demonstrate that we want to continue to negotiate in good faith. And you, as the leader, would have to make that decision, right? Would you support the motion to hold the vote tomorrow?
What I can say is, I heard things today that I didn't hear yesterday. I think it helps that I was able to put a suit on today and know I was going to be here today to kind of absorb, and I'm still absorbing. What I can say is I'm willing to do anything for this to be as productive as it can be, while also protecting the interests and the fiduciary role that we have under law as a school district of Philadelphia and the Board of Education. So I hope that gives you some color to where I am right now. But that being said, I respect my board too much in this space with something that's this raw, to say that I will support, because that can also feel like I'm pulling them along and they don't want to be pulled along as well. I just respect my board too much. But what I can say
I
is,
understand that. I don't mean to cut you off. I understand that. But I think as the leader, council president sometimes has to make decisions based on his conversations for this body. And sometimes he doesn't have the opportunity to come to all 17 of us. And while I understand you respect them and your process, you are the leader.
yes, I am.
And so we are looking to you to have to make that decision in good faith, right? I think that it is important to those who are looking in to understand that while council makes the decision, the final decision on this budget, people have to understand that their government is working for them and in the best interest of them, and that we're not making rash decisions, that we're not making decisions being angry or frustrated with anybody. And I think people looking in right now see and hear frustration. They see and hear, or they think there's this misunderstanding or lack of communication. And I think as the leader, we're looking to you and asking you to make that decision of supporting a motion that not just this legislative body is asking you for, but the public is asking you for, the families, the students are asking you for, your staff, right? The staff of the school district is asking for you to consider.
The best I can do is I'm happy to consider, but I'm sorry, in good faith, I cannot get too far ahead of my board. And there are things that we have to weigh as well. But I think we do have time. The vote isn't happening right now. And what I can guarantee is that I will convene my board today or soon thereafter. And we won't find out at the day of the meeting or at the meeting. But I just have, there's so much that we have to weigh. There's so much that we have to weigh.
I will say this, just in follow up with Member Lozada, and then I'm gonna turn over to Member Isaiah Thomas. The mayor, who's the CEO of the city of Philadelphia, really came and gave a passionate speech as to why this partnership and this collaboration will be critically important in terms of this process even moving forward. And as some members in council may say, even not moving forward, just to be quite frank with you in terms of what you are trying to accomplish. And so we understand you have a process and we have a process, and then hopefully all of that is taken in good time in the context, even though you are independent body. So, but I hear you loud and clear. You're saying you have to check with your team and not want to jump out there too quick. So we understand that. Anything else, Member Lozada?
Thank you.
Member Isaiah Thomas.
Good afternoon, Council President. Good afternoon, Board President,
Member
Superintendent.
Thomas, do you mind doing it from up here?
I'm sorry, say it
Do
again.
you mind doing it from up here?
Apologize. Good afternoon. And thank you, Council President. I want to start by saying thank you to you, Dr. Watlington, as well as you, Board President Streeter. For those who don't know, we meet on a monthly basis, and you all make yourself available to answer questions and to support the Education Committee. And we do appreciate the time you've spent with us in the past. I also want to take a moment to say thank you to my guy, Colonel Hill. Actually, Colonel Hill and Mike, if you guys both can come join us up here, because I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions. But I also just want to let you both know, because I work with you on a consistent basis, I appreciate you both as it relates to the work that's being done on finance, as well as dealing with different operational issues as well. So Colonel Hill, to you and your team, when I think about Fiesta schools and all of the playgrounds that we've rebuilt in the city of Philadelphia and all the great work that's been done in the world of extracurricular activities and things of that, I truly appreciate it. So I wanted to start by saying thank you. Also want to say thank you to the mayor for the mayor's remarks earlier. The mayor definitely showed that this is an issue that we all care about. I don't think anybody can argue there. And you've seen that within the mayor's passion. So with that being said, let me start by with the request of the Majority Leader, Gilmore Richardson. Majority Leader Gilmore Richardson asked that the vote be delayed until May 20th. I'm wondering, I don't know if there are any other school board members here, but what would you need to hear in order to be convinced that this Thursday is not the time to vote? I heard you say you heard some good stuff here today, and I got some good stuff here, but I only have a little bit of time. So I want to try to dig into my magic box of tricks and pull out the right thing that I think might can convince you. So what are you weighing, and what can be said today that can convince you that this vote needs to be delayed?
There are no other board members in the room right now, but what I can say is the board is a very deliberative, we're kind of designed to kind of be this way. I know it's kind of annoying, we're not the quick pivots, we have to think about the quick pivots. And I have to honor that, and I can't be up here, making edicts or speaking on behalf of 9
Yeah, so I think we're trying to just convince you. So we want, so this is the thing. When the mayor comes and talks to me, or the council president comes and talks to me, or my colleague come and talk to me, I can say, hey, colleague, I can tell you where I am, but I can't speak for the other members. So none of us are asking you to speak for the other members. We're trying to convince you, the man that's in front of us right now. What can we say to you to convince you that this is not the right time? What would you need to hear?
I approach the role as being on the Board of Education as the president, as an attorney with their client. And sometimes you all are my client and don't know it when I'm in rooms that we all can't fit in. What I can do is I can tell you what the interests of my clients are, the Board of Education, who are my bosses, and those are the type of things that need to be considered.
All right, so that's a great comparison. So let's look at it as you're the lawyer, right?
Yes, happy to do so.
The board members are their client. I want you to advise your clients to delay this process, right? And let me just say why. I'm gonna explain why. I'm gonna tell you why. Because you don't have the evidence to win the case. Let me tell you how I know you don't have the evidence. I'm gonna just give you just a couple examples because I don't have a lot of time, and I'm using your comparison. Wagner Middle School. I just said this to Mayor Parker. I've said it multiple times. Wagner Middle School is in my neighborhood. That's my neighborhood middle school. I'm not telling you to keep it open. I'm not telling you to close it. What I'm saying is this. Wagner Middle School, if closed, is supposed to have its students go to the neighborhood schools. One of the schools that you're asking the young people to go to is Elwood Elementary School. When I look out my window from the top of my house, I can see Elwood Elementary School. That's how close I live to Elwood. And I know everybody don't know every neighborhood in the city of Philadelphia, but I can assure you East Oak Lane is one of the most active communities in the entire city. East Oak Lane has, we're not gonna get into all that. So Elwood, right now, K through 4 goes to the main building. When you get in 5th grade for Elwood, you have to walk 4 blocks past Elwood to the annex that we rent that we don't own. So if Elwood right now can only hold K through 4, and 5th and 6th has to go walk somewhere else, how can we make Elwood K through 8? Can you just answer that for me?
No. When you engage in good faith negotiations as an attorney, and if you want to play the role of attorney for city council, that's fine. You have to understand the interests of both parties, right? We have a $300 million deficit, $7 billion of either replacement or deferred costs. This is a resolution that doesn't close anything tomorrow or whenever it happens. This is a resolution that sets forth a process with mechanisms built into it, very thoughtful, so that you can have multiple bites at the apple, that community can have multiple bites at the apple, where the Board of Education will hold the superintendent accountable to implement with fidelity like we know he can. So again, those are the type of things you have to also kind of hit me with too, because
Sure. So
let's go to that then.
Because you're, Board President, you're absolutely right. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
For me, you are not talking to me about the thing that we're actually trying to solve for, right? And it's also about chronic underachievement and the ability to redistribute our resources in a way, understanding that no plan is ever going to be perfect.
Sure.
That no plan, it doesn't matter if we take one school out and we make this a fungible bean county, which is not what the board wants to do. There's always going to be concerns and things that are going to have to be worked out, that will take time, that might take a planning year. So that's the things that we have to consider. And there are other things we have to consider. I'm not boo-boo
Sure.
a fool. I understand where we are. I understand where city council is as well. But in good faith, I am unwilling today to tell you exactly what I'm going to tell my board what to do, because that's not how it works.
Sure. So
I recommend, we weigh facts, and we weigh evidence.
So do you believe that what I said about Elwood is a fact?
I
Or
believe
did I
it's
just make that
factual,
up?
but again, you have to understand, we are trying to solve for, I think, two different issues.
But Board President, look, so can we just stick to the line of questioning?
Is
that okay?
It's a fact, but the point I'm trying to make is, even though it's a fact, I believe there are other ways that it could be addressed.
Right. So I agree
and that's
with
what
you.
the planning year
Don't
does.
you think we need to take some time to address it?
Listen,
So we're going to
I'm-
vote on the plan.
I'm-
So me and you agree. Can I finish?
I'm not.
You're not going to do it. Okay. Me and you agree that Elwood is a problem in the plan. And I'm just asking you, I'm not even telling you your plan is bad. Let me take a couple steps back and offer some more compliments.
I just conceded that. I said that no matter what plan we have, it could be a plan that takes 30,000 years to create. There's always going to be tension and issues in the plan, whether you put Elmwood and you put another school in there. That's the point I'm trying to make. The way this resolution is designed is so that these things, irrespective of what the schools are, there will be a year or more for this superintendent who's coming here, and I believe he's done it in other mechanisms and other ways, to plan thoughtfully, and for the board to pivot as it has on leveling and as it has on other things. This board will pivot based upon actual things that we know will happen. So,
Board President.
So to me, I have to take that into consideration, because if we don't do this now, we could be sitting here 20, 30 years having a different conversation. So I hope you understand my client's perspective as well, and understand where we're trying to head with this too. I'm not trying to be a hater here, but I think it's important that we understand what this is. And remember,
Board President, look, we do understand. And I'm not trying to say we don't understand. I'm identifying flaws in the plan. Let me go back to compliments, right? I'll compliment you all for coming up with a plan that doesn't close any of our comprehensive neighborhood high schools. That's one of the most important parts of this plan, and it was one of the most difficult things you had to do. I was scared for Strawberry Mansion. I was scared for Overbrook, right? Oh, I'm sorry, Penn Treaty is the only one. So I thank you, Councilmember Young. I'm not saying that the plan is completely bad, and I also recognize that at some point someone's going to be unhappy. What I'm saying is this, right? The plan is here, it's up here, and it looks good, but I've identified issues in the structure down here. I'm telling you to your face that Elwood, and in your plan with Elwood, it doesn't work. And I have more examples. But instead of listening to my example and say, you know what, maybe we did get Elwood wrong. Maybe we need to add some capital investment in order to do it. You guys are basically saying, well, we'll figure that out later.
Mr. Chairman, may I jump in really quick and just say, the plan does provide a $12 million investment into Elwood. So it is in the plan, and we'll be sure that we get you that copy today.
Dr. Watlington, we did 43 million for Frankfurt. I'm telling you that Elwood has no space for 5th and 6th right
Understood.
now, and you're
Understood.
adding 7th and 8th. With all due respect,
Yes.
right? How can $12 million, I seen that, how can $12 million put us in a position to double the size of a school when we spent $43 million just on renovations at Frankfurt?
If you'll let me say these two things. One, we will absolutely receive that and take that as a homework assignment and report back. Second, I do want to come back to the 10,000-foot level and say, to President Streeter's point, here's the problem we're solving for at Wagner, because I don't want the public to get lost. Wagner has a capacity for 1,030 students. 4 years ago, there were 444 students. That number reduced in school year 22-23 to 366. The next year, the enrollment went down to 304, and the next year to 297. This year, the enrollment has gone down again to 294. We ought not to continue to operate. I think we can agree that we can't continue to operate schools with that are less than half filled. We're willing to go back and take an absolute look at your point, if $12 million is adequate to expand the capacity at Elwood. We'd be glad to do that.
And if you're listening to what I'm saying, Dr. Watlington, I'm not arguing with you one way or another on Wagner. What I'm trying to tell you, right? My neighbors, where I live, on my block, that I'm 100% sure that the capital investment for Elwood doesn't work. It doesn't fit the plan. When Councilmember Squilla tells you he just found out on Monday about this new version of the plan, we're not trying to go back and forth with you guys. What we're telling you is from the seat that we're sitting in, your timeline doesn't work for us. And you're telling us, we kind of got to stick with this timeline. And then in a couple weeks, we're going to take a vote. And you guys are asking us to compartmentalize these different topics of discussion. And I think the problem is this: you can't have your cake and eat it too. It just don't work that way. So if you're telling us that we have to deal with this facilities plan, this is where we are, there will be no modifications, just know that we're going to return that same energy. And the reality is, most of us will agree, we've had a good working relationship. I think most of us will also agree we have a similar end goal as it relates to where we want to get to as it relates to the finish line. The problem we're having is the path to get there. And I think the difference between you guys and us is we're held accountable by a different group of people than you are. So certain things, you guys can kind of take the hit and turn the other cheek, whereas though we're not in the position to be able to do that.
So, Mr. Chairman, by way of board presidents and the board's resolution, President Streeter and the board, through this resolution, directs the superintendent to follow processes that could indeed include some amendments and changes as we go along. That's the beauty of the resolution. It provides for some adjustments and changes. It's no different than when you renovate an old house and you establish a budget for $2,000. You get into the drywall and you found you've got some other issues, and you may have to increase that. The resolution allows
So
that.
I have to move on. I have to allow Councilmember Young. We have a lot of people here for public comment. The Elwood example that I gave you, I have about 4 other examples just like that. I don't have time to go through each one of them. And again, I'm not saying the plan is completely bad. You've heard us talk about Lincoln-All. Lincoln-All is a non-starter, so I'm not going to keep going back and forth about that. But Lincoln-All is an opinion. That's Councilmember Ahmad's opinion. It's my opinion. It's Councilmember Jones's opinion. It's Councilmember O'Rourke's opinion. That's an opinion, right? Your opinion is your way. My opinion is my way. Opinions are subjective. Elwood is a fact. I'm telling you for a fact that the plan doesn't work for the people in the East Oak Lane community, and the feedback that I'm getting is not one that I can go take back to them people. So let me just move on, because I'm going to keep asking about this 520. We're going to keep bringing it back up. Let me close out by saying this. I'm going to send a letter, and if members of the council want to sign on, great. If they don't, that's fine. I'm going to send a letter to every member of the school board. And the letter to every member of the school board will be reflective of exactly what Councilmember Gilmore Richardson's ask was today, because everybody's not here today. And we want each individual member of the school board to know that we're personally asking for you not to take this vote on Thursday, and we want to put it in writing. And we want members of the school board to know that if you do take the vote on Thursday, and you do vote in a way that's not reflective of what not just the city legislator is asking, but the state legislature too. We had Rep. Fiedler here today. We had Rep. Cephas at the press conference the other day. We had Rep. Khan at the press conference the other day. And the mayor sat here and said, give Harrisburg the tools that they need to go get us more money. I talked to Harrisburg, at least the Philly delegation. You know what they need to get us more money? To scrap this facility plan. That's what they said to us. And if you don't believe that, you can ask them yourself. Now, when I say scrap, I don't mean get rid of it completely, but if you talk to the state legislators, they'll tell you Rep. Cephas screamed and hollered about Overbrook Elementary School yesterday. She did. That was her own words. Rep. Cephas screamed and hollered about Overbrook. Yeah, Overbrook. Rep. Khan screamed and hollered about Lincoln Hall.
Mr. Chairman, may I just ask a question?
Sure, please.
Do you support any school closures at this time?
Yes, I do. I do think that there are things in your plan that make sense, right? But I think that there are other things. I'll give you one, for example. Building 21 going into Martin Luther King High School. It's not the most popular thing in my neighborhood, but that's something that I can turn the other cheek to. And I can even entertain Wagner. I can entertain it, but you can't entertain it with the plan that you have in place because it doesn't work for the community. And that's what I'm saying.
May I just say two things can be true at the same time, and I'll defer respectfully to the chairman. On the one hand, we absolutely received the feedback, and we're going to go do that homework today.
Yep.
To take a look at Elwood. At the same time, as a citizen and as the superintendent, I would not come to council and ask you what's your specific budget for filling every pothole in Philadelphia. Show me the exact plan, all the contingencies. At some point, I'm going to trust the folks to do the work and hold them accountable to do it.
Dr. Watlington, I think that's a great point, and I understand exactly what you're saying. I think the biggest difference between where we are right now as it relates to the school issues and other issues where we're asking folks to trust the institutions is that we've been down this road before, and I know you might not have been there. We've been down this road before, and it was traumatizing, and we got it wrong, right? So when people are asking questions, it's not personal against me as the education chair or Councilmember Lozada running the 7th District, or even you as the superintendent, or even Board President Streeter. They're asking questions because they're traumatized because we got it wrong last time. So if we had a track record of getting this right, we wouldn't be wasting our time having this conversation. We would just go ahead over there and say, well, y'all got it, because y'all have done this before.
Duly noted.
That's the issue that we have.
But you do want us to address the 35%.
We do. And I commend you. I commend Colonel Hill. I commend the entire team for things like modifying Conwell and your stance on Conwell. Things you've done in the 3rd District and other districts. But I'm about to pass it to Councilmember Young because we just saying we still have more work to do. We're not saying you're evil or you're gentrifiers or anything like that. We're just saying based on where we are. Well, I'm not saying that. I'm sorry, Board President Streeter. I'm not calling you that. I'm just saying based on where we are, we've seen some progress and we still have some more work to do. Let me just add one more thing. Mike. We have one of my biggest issues. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Board President. We got 40 people for public comment. I got to let Mr. Young go.
I'm going to be brief.
Are y'all going to stay for public comment?
I'm going to be brief. I'll be brief. I will be brief. Chair Thomas. I honestly do believe that I have to go back to the board. I am unwilling today, at this moment, put on the spot to say something that would imperil my credibility with the board when I have to ask them to do tough things as well. So what I can tell you in good faith, as you and I know, I will definitely take this back to the board and we will have that conversation. But I would hope that our exchange, whatever that was, that there's an understanding that we have some really big fish to fry as well. And we have some material things that only we are accountable to as well.
You guys have the toughest volunteer position in the city of Philadelphia. Please know we understand that. We're not saying that that's not the case.
Said, the point has been made. I've heard it over and over again. Whatever heat y'all need to put under me to go and do what I need to do is done.
Okay.
But I am unwilling in this moment right now to say one way or the other.
Okay.
And you would know as soon as I can possibly get that answer.
So we'll send it in writing to the other board members just so folks know. And hopefully we'll hear back from you so we know before we go into council on Thursday. And we'll be able to go from there. Before I go to Councilmember Young, Mike, procurement numbers. 2 years ago, local procurement numbers for the school district of Philadelphia as it relates to Philadelphia businesses was in the teens. It was 15% or so or below. Can you communicate where we are as it relates to what percentage of school district contracts go to Philadelphia-based businesses and what direction you feel like we're going in?
Yes, thank you for your leadership in this area, as well as other members of council and the board. We have gone from the teens in 2023 to 32% in the current year in terms of local suppliers, and we believe that we're on the correct trajectory to continue down that path.
Let's make sure that we continue to look at those big contracts, right? The substitute teaching contract, we're going to keep pushing that. We think that there are local firms who can do that. The cleaning contract, I know that there are people in Philadelphia that can clean, and there are a few other contracts that we talked about. I just want to put that on the record and say thank you, Mike, and the entire team on the fiscal side for the School District of Philadelphia, as well as you, Dr. Watlington, for your vision as it relates to some of the decisions that you've made to put us in this position. Go ahead, Dr. Watlington.
Mr. Chairman, pursuant to Councilmember Lozada's question, would you permit CFO Herbstman to tell you in 20 seconds or less which national groups have provided the school district with commendations in its budgeting and annual year-over-year audits?
Yeah, please go ahead and do that, because I think it's important, and I think this is important why you pull it out. I think it's important because we don't want people in Harrisburg to feel like the problem that we're dealing with is a mismanagement of money or bad decisions, right? Like that's not at all what I'm saying. Just like you're not going to agree with every contract and every spending and everything that we've done on the council side or I've done in my office, I don't want to accuse you of that specifically, Dr. Watlington, because I've met with you every quarter since you've been here, and I'm aware of the things you've done as it relates to not hiring staff and allowing positions in 440 to be downsized. So I know sometimes we don't give out enough compliments, but part of why we're not doing that today is because of the facilities issue. And if we didn't have to spend 4 hours arguing about facilities, we probably could have spent another hour or two giving out compliments for the great work that's being done. Go ahead, Mike, I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you. So as Dr. Watlington said earlier, we have, for more than a decade consecutively, we have had unmodified or clean audits on our annual financial statements as well as our federal single audit. And for the financial statements, the awards that we've won are from the Government Finance Officers Association and ASBO International, or the Association of School Business Officials International.
Which is really, really significant.
Yeah, no, congratulations. I understand the importance of that. And it puts us in a position to be able to do some of the borrowing that we know we're going to need to do to be able to invest in new facilities and things of that capacity. So we truly appreciate that. Thank you for the work that you're doing. Apologize if folks are taking this personal, but we have this is a legacy moment. And Board President Streeter, I think more than almost anybody in the room, you understand that because you're a graduate of Germantown High School. And you know firsthand how these decisions we make will impact schools, neighborhoods, and people, so please don't take it personal. Chair recognizes Councilmember Young.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think that first I want to say thank you for the work that you all do. It's, as Member Thomas said, it's a very, very thankless job what you do. You know, and we all care. Like there's no one, it's not personal at all, but like we all live here. We all have families, kids, everything, right? So it's, you know, we want to make sure that this gets done right because, you know, last time it wasn't, as the council member alluded to. I just want to mention I want to say thank you, right, for increasing the amount of funding to the 5th Council District, right, because you recognize the impact that this 2 school closings have had on our district. But just to put some numbers around it, in the last proposed school closing and this one, facilities plan, is 42 acres of land, right? As a real estate attorney, that's how I think, right? I manage that. I look at those things and look at what the impact is. 42 acres of land in the 5th Council District between the last 2 school closings, right? So let's think about that. That's a lot. And so our issues and our concerns are with the process, like what went into the plan. We know that school district has to right size, we understand that, but when we look at, you know, I just heard Dr. Watlington said that, you know, we can't keep schools that are half filled open, but then I look at a school like Strawberry Mansion, right, who has an enrollment of 200 students or so, 100 show up every day, and for a capacity of about 1,500. that is severely underutilized. And I understand that there was, a plan to try to not touch some of the comprehensive high schools, right? And that could be a reason why that school wasn't even thought of or looked at. But when you look at your own metrics, that one fits every, whatever classification that you're going by when you're deciding what facilities need to be closed or not. So let's just keep that in mind, because that's a fact, right? As the councilman alluded to, that's a fact. That's not something that we're just making up here. When you're looking at the overutilization of schools, I look at Bay Martin in my district that has the capacity score of 158, that is severely overcrowded, but yet you want to take students from 2 other schools and place them in a severely overcrowded school, right? Leaving that school with years of proposed renovations where the HERA reports already say that asbestos is rampant, right? So as you're going through the renovation process, you're going to find things unexpectedly. It's just what happens in construction. And so that's a fact. The community has put forward an alternative plan for that neighborhood where you're closing Waring to create a Masterman Middle School at Waring, where we have already a school that is severely overcrowded. We are emerging that catchment area. Why can't we just merge those schools and create 2 separate schools? Create a separate elementary school for the community, a separate middle school for the community, right? Because we already know Waring can be a middle school because you want to put Masterman Middle School there, right? So it already has the capacity to be a middle school. Why can't it be a middle school for that community, right? When we already have a school that is already overcrowded, you're going to make it even more severely overcrowded. So we're not saying that the plan, things don't need to change, but some of the things that you have in the plan doesn't work for the communities. We're held accountable to the communities, like we are. I mean, I know you guys are insulated from it because they don't choose you. Only the mayor chooses you. Only the mayor could get rid of you. Right? So, but we're not insulated from the community and from the people. So we're just asking you to take, it's a partnership, if this is a true partnership that has been mentioned over and over again today, like it seems like you're not really taking our feedback seriously. That's what it feels like. We just think that there is other ways to go about it when we know you need to right size. And that is, we understand that completely. But we're just asking to be included in that process as you are right sizing what the district looks like. Because, again, we know the communities. Those people elect us to represent them. So we have a different understanding of the communities than maybe some of you all have. And we're just asking to kind of slow this process down and think about the other impacts that it has. And when it comes to, as I mentioned, just for my district specifically, thank you, Ludlow, right? That you have listened to the community, understood that Ludlow, if you remove Ludlow, you remove a school from an entire neighborhood, so that neighborhood would have no school, right? So thank you for that. But you're doing that in other places as well throughout the city. And we're just asking to take that step back to really take a look at what makes sense for the people that's there. It doesn't have to make sense for the district. What makes sense for the people? Because that's who you serve, right? Ultimately, that's your constituents, the students, the people, the families, right? You mentioned that families have the opportunity to move. People are going to not choose Fairmount because their school is going to have 900 kids in an elementary school. They're going to not choose that neighborhood. What elementary schools have 900 kids pre-K through 8 in the city? Like that's a real fact. That's a fact. So just want to put that on the record because like if it's about if we understand that families have the ability to vote with their feet, like let's keep them from doing that. But this plan, certain parts of this plan will cause that. And we're asking you to take a step back to understand that and to really analyze, right, or to really share what went into the sauce to make the plan.
Sure,
because again, there's so many contradictions just in the 5th district alone when it comes to some of the ideas and goals of the plan. So that's it. I done been beating this for the past couple of months.
I want to give the superintendent an opportunity.
Thank you, Councilmember Young. Again, I want to be really clear on the record that we've been listening for a long, long time, and we're going to continue to listen. I do want to just note for a school like Waring, I want to answer that question very factually on the record, because I think the public really needs to know what we're doing here. Waring is a school that we're not recommending to turn into a merged middle school on that site. There are 10 students in the first grade at Waring. It's not a sound.
Dr. Wallington, before I cut you off, we know the numbers at Waring. That's not what we're saying. We know that Waring is an underutilized school. We get that. What I am saying is that we can merge, but the schools, the lines are merging anyway. The catchment lines are merging, so Waring students are going to go to Bache Martin. What I am saying is create a separate elementary school, K through 5, and then a separate middle school where Waring is, so that community can have a separate elementary school and a separate middle school, right? Because we are already changing Waring into a middle school for Masterman. That's a part of your plan. So we know the building can be a middle school. Why can't it be a middle school for that community?
Hey, Dr. Watlington, before you respond to that, let me take a step back to my 520 request with Board President Streeter.
Yes, sir.
Let me give you a good example of why we need to delay this vote. Member Young is a very intelligent member of City Council, as we've heard multiple times here today, right? And so, Member Young clearly doesn't know, he's not a member of the Education Committee, that you all have a philosophy of moving away from the middle school model. Just listening to the example he gave, he doesn't know that. These are the type of conversations that we need to take the time to have so that you and Member Young can brainstorm, okay, if we are going to move away from the middle school model and we don't like the recommendation that's on the board right now, how can we come together with the district council person, state legislator, community and school leaders to figure out what's the best mechanism based on the foundation you have?
But Member Thomas, they're turning that building into a middle school.
I know what you're saying,
Based on
and
demand.
I'm not, the
Based on
irony of that
demand.
is stark, but go ahead, Dr. Watlington.
Your point is well taken.
Based on demand, but the demand in that community, specifically when you have Bache Martin, that is, you're gonna have 900 kids. The demand for that community for a school is there. The demand is for a public, traditional catchment school in that neighborhood is there. So you can put Masterman on Mars and the demand is gonna be there.
Mr. Chairman, Councilmember Young, that is patently not true. There are not 10 kids in the first grade, 9 in the third grade, 19 in the eighth grade.
Okay.
The demand to turn that into a neighborhood middle school is, from my review of the data, it's not there. Councilmember Young, do you want me to recommend?
What community? We had a meeting. We had community members there. That
They
was a great
enrolled-
idea to those members of that community because
May I-
it keeps their community, it keeps the class sizes and their elementary schools smaller and gives them the still ability to have a neighborhood middle school where those middle schoolers can thrive and have their own space.
Dr. Watlington, have you and Colonel Hill and your team met with Member Young as it relates to these concerns?
Yes, I've met with Councilmember Young. We've met.
Can we, because I don't see how we resolve this right now, and we have a lot of people in the general
May I just ask
public.
one other question?
Yes, sir.
Just because I want to make sure we take the
I just wanted to be able to
homework
put that
away.
on the record. I mean, we're not going to be able to resolve that right now, right? I understand that. But I just wanted to put that on the record for people in those communities and I want to thank your team. They came out to community
I
meetings,
received
to
it.
hear, to talk to us about, what that merger looks like and what that, the facilities plan as it relates to Fairmount and Francisville and Spring Garden, what that looks like. But it doesn't get to the fact, it doesn't answer those concerns that those people have where there's going to be 900 kids from pre-K through 8 and one block.
We've made a note. May I just ask one question? Because I want to make sure that in the spirit of listening, that we take the appropriate feedback.
And then
Councilmember
after
Young,
this, we have to move on to public comment.
10 seconds. Councilmember Young, we are using Strawberry Mansion as a professional learning center. We've figured out different uses. Are you saying to me that you'd like me to recommend to close Strawberry Mansion High School?
What I'm
Recommend the
saying
board
to you
close
is
Strawberry
that
Mansion?
I'm not recommending the closure of any school. Like that's your job, and it's our job to have to figure out if we're going to support that or not. What I'm saying is that based on your own I guess, numbers on what you decide to do, on how, what you decide to use to close a school, right, that fits the criteria. So we're just trying to figure out, why do some schools fit the criteria and others don't? I think that's what we're trying to figure out. But if you want to get to that point where, you know, that's it's a school that is underutilized, severely underutilized, right? So what goes into making that decision to close one severely underutilized school but not another severely underutilized school? That's the question that we're trying to get to.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Try to get me on a record to say close Strawberry Mansion. Like, how dare you, man? Like, that's just
Superintendent, what I think should happen, and I got my dates wrong. I kept saying 5/20. The date is actually 5/28. I think the exchange between you and Member Young just kind of shows the entire city that we're just not ready for this yet. I listened to the mayor talk about the importance of us having a united front. So when we go to Harrisburg, we have every tool that's possible. You might have heard of a lot of emotion and a lot of frustration today, but let me just ask this one last question. If we are to adopt the plan and we see the reduction in staff, this is one thing that I didn't get on the record, and this is important. The climate staff that work in the school district right now, if they were to see a reduction in their hours, they would go from full-time to part-time and they would lose their benefits. I'm talking about the Unite Here folks. Is that true? Would Unite Here people lose their benefits?
I am not aware of any plans on the table for people to lose benefits.
Can we get that back as a part of our follow-up when you guys answer the questions in writing?
Absolutely.
It's really important that
Yes, sir.
the Unite Here workers, the people who work in our schools, what happens with their full-time, part-time benefits and things like that. But again, these are dynamics that just say we just need a little more time to cross some T's, dot some I's, modify a few things, and put us in a position to be able to have something that we're all comfortable with, instead of us saying, they did that, not us. That's no good. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
We truly appreciate it. Very quickly, Councilmember Mott.
Very quickly, didn't get it in last time. Thank you again, all of you. I got some information, and we're talking about efficiencies and carving out money here, there, and everywhere, that the Office of School Safety is currently spending over $8 million on new uniforms for the SSOs, and also that money has been allocated to rebrand district vehicles. Is that correct? And do we have other $8 million tucked away within our school district budget that would really help alleviate many of the problems we're talking about?
Superintendent, quickly, Colonel, quickly.
Thank you very much. I challenge the $8 million as a result of the most recent collective bargaining agreement. We have increased the allocation of pants and shirts for our school safety officers and
Colonel
for
Hill,
their
collective
protection.
bargaining agreement with who?
That's the collective bargaining agreement with SPAP.
Yep,
the School Police Officers Association. Additionally, for their well-being, we have also provided them with vests as a result of the hazards that they face in their duties. I am absolutely certain that those expenditures do not amount to $8 million.
Thank you.
This was reported to me, that's why I'm asking.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I would like a verification of this,
We'll
of
take it
the
as
money
almost-
spent on
Councilwoman.
uniforms and the district council vehicles. Last question, did all the board members visit the 20 schools and now 18 schools that are being impacted by this?
Board
district
President, do
budget?
you know the answer if all of the board members visited the schools that's impacted?
Thank you.
I don't have the answer right now.
Okay, so Board President, will you let us know whether or not will you give us an update? Can that be one of the questions?
What I can say is the Board of Education sojourns to visit all of our schools, understanding that we're volunteers and there's so many schools in the school district and charter schools. I believe they've been to some, but I can't answer that question right now. But we do.
We'd like to get an answer to see if you have visited the schools you're impacting.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for being here today. I want to swiftly move into public comment because the constituents of Philadelphia have been waiting patiently. Hopefully there's representation from the admin as well as the school district who's going to sit here and listen to public comment. With that being said, Mr. Clerk, would you please call the first person for public comment?
Arthur Steinberg, Jarrett Johnson, Kimberly Nelson, Nefertiti Rayner. That's true, exactly. Yep. Okay, okay. All right, sounds good.
Good to see you again.
Colleagues, I apologize for rushing you through, but we have over 40 people who signed up for public comment, and we want to make sure that we try to hear from as many people as possible. Mr. Steinberg, thank you for the work that you do, sir. Please state your name for the record, and you may begin with your testimony. Before Mr. Steinberg begins, excuse me, can we get everybody quiet, please? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chair Thomas. Good afternoon to you and the members of the Committee of the Whole. As he stated, my name is Arthur Steinberg. I'm the president of the Philadelphia Federation of Teachers, which represents more than 14,000 educators who work in the school district of Philadelphia. I want to thank this body for once again holding the district accountable on its plan to close 17 schools and massively disrupt school communities across the city by moving, merging, and co-locating dozens of school programs. It is shocking, frankly, that the disrespected district has shown to us throughout this process on too many occasions that today been shown to you, one of their primary funders. We have put up with that throughout this process, trying to obtain information and data, and it was kind of surprising to see you treated the same way. The Board of Education, as you all have stated so far, must not vote on the facilities master plan until the district clearly shows really what Councilmember Young was just asking for, how they arrived at decisions about the fates of individual schools. They have failed to do so since publicizing the plan in January. Let's see if they're sufficiently motivated to do so by Thursday, May 28th, if in fact they move it there. Your activism on behalf of school communities you represent helped save the Motivation High School in the 3rd Council District, Ludlow Elementary School in the 5th Council District, and Conwell Middle Magnet School in the 7th Council District. There are more schools targeted for closure for reasons that are totally obscure to those of us outside of 440 North Broad. The district can and must do far better in earning community buy-in and trust before the board holds a vote. Educators and students and communities need to know what conditions they'll be working, learning, and in so they can plan accordingly. For our members, not having any reliable way to know where they'll be working within 2 or 3 years creates anxiety and stress, which they can easily escape by moving to another school system right outside the city, because for the first time in decades, the suburbs are experiencing that shortage as well. In addition to that, this will then accelerate the departure of many of the students from the schools, which will in turn create a loss of funding. As you might recall from our union's recent contract campaign, I'm going to get in a shameless plug here, we were able to win historic raises and benefits, including paid parental leave and accelerating the ability of educators to move up the pay scale so that we can remain competitive with our suburban counterparts. And we were able to do this without having to walk off the job for a couple of reasons. Number one, we really did not want to impose a hardship on the community. And the district then recognized the worth of our people, and they realized that damn well that our folks would work out if they didn't accommodate us. The city of Philadelphia cannot afford to make more missteps to drive educators and families outside the city. It is going to be difficult for us to mobilize educators at Langton Hall, Amy Northwest, Parkway Northwest, Waring, and I can go on, to lift a finger to secure the badly needed funding from this General Assembly and this council when the district gives no justification for closing the unique and precious learning environment they've built. Elementary school students shouldn't have to protest the lack of working toilets in their school or come to city council to beg for plumbing to be fixed. Some of you were there in solidarity. I don't want to mention your names because I'm afraid I'll miss a few and I don't want to insult anybody. If the district truly cared about community buy-in to its facilities plan, they would demonstrate their ability to make those urgent repairs and provide the relevant information on school closures now, Please force them, continue to force them to show their work, disclose the why behind their proposals, and establish detailed timelines of what will be done to each affected school and when. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony. Truly appreciate you, sir. I'm sure members don't have questions for Mr. Stumpf. Great. Thank you, sir. We
Thank
appreciate you. I'm sorry, and I apologize for not framing this moving forward. When you come up to testify, you have to start by stating your name for the public record. After you state your name, you may begin with your testimony. When you hear the bell, that means we're asking you to begin to wrap your testimony up and summarize it. When you hear the second bell, that means that your time is up.
Okay, you may proceed.
I'm sorry. John, please state your name for the record. Are you okay?
Yeah,
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
You sure to testify still?
I sure am.
Okay, go ahead. Please state your name for the record. You may
Okay,
begin with your
hello
testimony.
everyone. My name is Nefertari Rayner. Thank you for the opportunity to come up here after 7 hours that we've all been here. So basically, I had a written testimony, but we've been here too long, so I'm gonna try to keep it short and sweet. Basically, the problem that I see with the school district is that we don't have enough proper data analysis. It's kind of just surface level. We saying that people are graduating on time and we have less people dropping out, but that's actually not 100% accurate. It's taking people longer to actually graduate on time. The numbers don't add up. Still, 1 out of 4 children do not graduate when they're supposed to. As you can see, the children come up and they're saying that they don't have proper resources in their schools to actually feel comfortable, and this actually affects their mental health, their emotional health, and how they function in schools. And I'm not far from this. I'm only 24 years old. I graduated class of 2020, so I've seen all of this firsthand, experienced it, went to school with bars on the windows, dirty bathrooms, and all of that. So it just shows how inadequate the schools are, and people have to practically beg for hours and hours. We can't come to a resolution, and people do not have trust. The school board is being honest, but there's no transparency. You're not being honest about the details. We need way more stuff for the children, the schools, and even the teachers to properly teach the kids of the community. Thank you. Is that it?
Thank you for your testimony. And I apologize. I apologize as well. Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Kimberly Nelson, and this is my daughter, Kennedy Nelson Ravenel. I'm here this afternoon about the conditions of the schools that have been ignored for decades for ADA accessibility. Tier 1 is one of the, Tier 1 for special education, they receive $28,200 per year for a child. A child that with a disability or special needs, per child, they receive $56,400 per year per special ed child. Tier 3, they receive $85,000 and up per child. In September of 2025, my daughter was strong-held to go to her neighborhood catchment school, and that's Overbrook High School. My daughter passed out a few weeks ago because of the conditions of the school. The classroom was hot. She was put into the hospital because she was dehydrated and she can't use the bathroom. The bathroom is not ADA accessible. It doesn't have any railings. It sits 15 inches from the floor. The bathroom still does not work. Inside of the learning class, the life support skill class, all of the cabinets inside of the kitchen were deplorable and they were all falling apart. Inside of, okay, all right. I just want, the ADA accessibility inside of our schools are not in compliance, and I have put in several and sent out emails to several entities inside of our city, and it's unfair that I have to worry about my child being safe inside of a school that does not have the necessary needs to be able to educate her. And for the amount of money that they receive from our children, it is not acceptable. We should have better choice. Yeah.
I want to say thank you because honestly, I'm looking around. I don't have any staff here, but if I can get one of my colleagues at large to volunteer to get staff, This sister has been coming down to city council saying this for some time. This isn't her first time down here. This isn't her first time testifying. It's not the first time hearing stories about her daughter, and she's been polite and respectful in her advocacy, and she's seen no change. I don't have staff here right now, but can we, thank you, Councilmember Brooks, can we connect with them, with this sister so we can do something about this?
Thank you.
Ma'am, thank you for waiting 6 hours to come tell your story again, and I'm sorry for what you had to experience as well, too. Thank you. Next person, Mr. Clerk.
Ann Dorn, Sabrina Trung, Amy Shizmansky, and Brianna Blackwood. Ann Dorn, Sabrina Trung, Amy Shizmansky, and Brianna Blackwood.
Please state your name for the record, and you may begin with your testimony.
My name is Ann Dorn. I'm a member of PCAC, the advisory council that talks to stakeholders all over the city, finds out what's important to people, and then tries to put together some advice for the board. And the first thing I wanted to talk about today, President Johnson actually already brought it up, about how there was an article in the Inquirer September 16th about how the district has a budget for 22 plumbers, but only 8 on staff. And again, this was an article that appeared last September. The same issue was brought up today. Deputy Superintendent Hill had a lot of things to explain about how they're patching the broken plumbing, but these plumbers have still not been hired. And I think this really points to a larger issue with the district. There have been a lot of questions today about why is the school selection process not going well. And the person who designed the school selection process was let go 2 years ago, but the school selection process itself is still here. And I think this is really a pattern with the district, that when a mistake is made, a person may be held responsible, but the mistake is never fixed. And that prevents mistakes from getting fixed, because nobody can ever admit that anything is wrong, because rather than fixing what's wrong, a person is blamed, a person is let go. So I would just really ask, if we want to do better with plumbing or absolutely anything else, we just need a system where people who make mistakes are allowed to fix them.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony, and thank you for your patience. Please state your name for the record and begin with your testimony.
Good afternoon, Council President Johnson and members of City Council. My name is Brianna Blackwood, and I'm a first-year SSC Student Success Coach with City Year Philadelphia, serving at Finletter Elementary School in Councilmember Phillips District. Today, I serve with City Year because it has been a meaningful part of my life for as long as I can remember. In middle school, I had an SSC, Miss Jordan, who inspired me to push myself and believe in my potential. It motivated me to pursue this role so I can provide the same to encourage others. We City Year SSCs serve across 12 partner schools in Philadelphia, working alongside teachers to support students academically and emotionally. At Finletter and all our partner schools, we provide targeted instructions, individualized support, and consistent progress monitoring. We also help build a positive school climate by forming strong relationships and supporting students' emotional growth. Each SSC has a focus list of 18 students who we support in small groups, individual academic, and mentoring sessions. And that's just one part of our service year. We also support whole classrooms, contribute to school-wide attendance and cultural initiatives, and help run after-school programs, giving students a safe, structured space to learn and connect. We motivate students by setting clear goals, celebrating small wins, and making sure every student feels seen, heard, and capable of success. I'm proud to share that I'll be returning for a second year of service with City Year.
Thank you, and thank you to the folks at City Year for your service. One of my favorite special education teachers, please state your name for the record and begin with your testimony.
My name is Amy Szymanski. I'm from Lankenau Environmental Science High School. I'm here speaking today on behalf of the students and parents of Lankenau High School who can't continue to leave class and leave work to speak on behalf of their school closing. I understand the advocacy that you've all done already, so I know I'm here preaching to the choir. But I do want to highlight that the most current reiteration of the plan keeps the school building open while still disrupting the education of the students who are there. The consistency that is required for students with autism and students with visual impairments will be disrupted while the school building is used as an environmental science education hub for other students around the school district, while our current ninth graders, our current 10th graders, and our incoming 8th graders, going to be 9th graders next year, will not be able to finish their high school career at the same school with the same level of safety and trust and consistency that has already been established. So, like everybody else, I'm hoping that they do not vote tomorrow and they continue to redraft the plan. Thank you.
Come back real quick. I'm sorry. You can come on back. Please come on back. Mr. Clerk, while I'm asking these, can you call the next group of people to come on up? While these folks are coming up, I got a question for you.
Julie Krug, Dowd Bay, Ben Scheinfeld, and Marissa Amos.
Y'all start making your way up. Question for you. And I just want the other members of the council to hear this because this is really important. What percentage of the population at Lincoln-All are actually special needs children?
Students with IEPs is about 24% total.
And that's important, colleagues. 24% of the students at Lincoln are special needs. And colleagues, look, when we say special needs, we're not talking about like just an IEP, right? Can you give us an example of some of the special need children you deal with?
About 10 years ago, Lankenau was designed to be the receiving school from students from Overbrook Education Center, in order to make sure that there was a seamless transition for students that had disability of intellectual disability and visual impairment and or blindness. So those students are a large percentage of our special education population.
So tell them, what type of needs are we talking about? Blind, what else?
Blind, students with intellectual disability, that's your typical student who would be in a life skill support class, similar to what the family of that mom was just talking about. I think they left.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted my colleagues to know. Thank you, we appreciate it. Please state your name for the record and you may begin with your testimony.
Hi, my name is Lily with Lift Every Voice Philly. I'll be reading testimony on behalf of Julie Krug, a parent member who could not stay as it got later. My name is Julie Krug and I live in the 2nd District. I'm here today to speak on behalf of the education budget. I'm speaking as a member of Lift Every Voice Philly, a Black-led parent membership organization. Currently, we have members representing 18 schools across the city. I want to first thank City Council for all of your work standing up for Philly students, and also share that LEV supports delaying the vote on the school facilities plan this Thursday. Right now, we are here speaking about the dreams and nightmares budget facing us and calling on you to step up. Every person on this council has an opportunity to be a hero by protecting the children and workers in our school. We cannot accept a city with the largest fund balance in a generation while our schools face a $300 million deficit. In just a number of weeks, my daughter will be graduating. When I was a first-time kindergarten parent in 2013, our schools faced awful budget cuts. My daughter's school at the time had overcrowded classrooms and no aides. Across the river, a child who had attended a school without a nurse died after suffering an asthma attack. That was the result of disinvestment. How could our city have let that happen? Now it's happening again. My daughter's school was devastated last year after losing 3 teachers. The school currently has 2 beloved building subs. At my son's high school this year, staff worked together to prevent fights on at least 2 occasions. Those critical moments of de-escalation don't happen without enough adults in the building. We are asking you to use every tool at your disposal to reach $75 million to fully protect our school-based staff. While the mayor's proposed $50 million is a welcome step, it is not enough. It leaves more than 200 positions still at risk and schools facing real disruption. Our kids cannot afford another cycle of cuts. They need to know that the adults in the city will provide for them first. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Please state your name for the record and you may begin with your testimony.
My name is Ben Scheinfeld and I live in the 3rd District. I'm here today as a member of Lift Every Voice Philly. We're a Black-led parent membership organization united across class, race, and neighborhoods to demand action on our schools. I want to recognize the council for making our wellness policy a reality and their support with that. Right now, we're speaking on that $300 million funding void that's looming for our schools this season. It's indefensible to let this nightmare loom while the city sits on the largest fund balance in a generation. I have a first grader at Lee, a K-8 school in West Philly. I feel incredibly fortunate that he can walk to school with his neighborhood and be part of a community that has endured for over a century. To send your child to school is an act of trust. To some extent, you're putting your trust in the institution, the facilities, the curriculum. Really, though, you're putting your trust in the people who make up your school. Teachers, counselors, facilities, and climate staff who take care of our kids every day. At Lee, we have Miss C. She is one of hundreds of climate staffers who are members of Unite Here Local 634 and are at risk of being torn away from their school communities. On paper, she's responsible for something like lunchroom management. In practice, she manages many different responsibilities every day on top of the truly critical work of getting dozens of high-energy kids to actually eat lunch in a confined space. That's impressive, but that's not what makes trust or the lunchroom work. What makes it work is hearing Miss C describes your kids' behavior, emotions, their eyelashes, realizing that she hasn't just learned their names, but reads their faces, whole lunchrooms of individual kids that she truly knows. Support when they need, boundaries when they need. Trust that makes schools work is being able to tell your tiny 6-year-old, if you need help, find Miss C. I trust her and she'll have your back. There are hundreds of Miss C's across the district who need your action now. Often they have years of service at their schools. They make up the bedrock of trust in public education. They cannot be cut or shuffled around without eroding Philly parents' confidence that our schools can work. The mayor's $50 million proposal is a welcome step forward. It still leaves more than 200 positions at risk. Our proposed $75 million investment would protect more than 500 essential staff members, including building subs, climate staff, and
Sir,
teachers.
I'm gonna have to ask you to summarize because I want everybody to get
All
an
right.
opportunity.
Last sentence. This is a legacy moment, as you mentioned. Continue to reverse precedent. Keep rebuilding trust in schools, starting with funding these positions.
Thank you for your testimony. Thank you for your patience, too. And please know your voice matters. We appreciate it. If you could call the next set of folks to testify, and then you can go, if that's okay.
Marissa Amos, Nakia Rosado, Eda McDougall, David Alexander Jenkins.
Please state your name for the record, and you may begin with your testimony.
My name is Judy Robbins with Lift Every Voice Philly. I am reading on behalf of our parent member, Marissa Amos, who could not stay, as well as many of our parent members who had to leave today. LEV also supports delaying the vote at the district. My name is Marissa Amos, and I live in District 4, Councilman Jones's district. My child is a third grader at Powell Elementary. I am speaking as a member of Lift Every Voice, a Black-led parent membership organization. We are united across class, race, and neighborhoods to demand urgent action in our schools. We see it as our duty as parents, as voters, and community leaders to push for systems change by leading together. Currently, we have members representing 18 schools across the city. Standing behind me are our members and supporters who are resolute in our commitment to fundamentally change our schools. I want to thank City Council for standing with us on the Joy campaign and our fight for no silent lunches and guaranteed daily access to recess. In Philadelphia, we know this line, "Seen my dreams unfold, nightmares come true." Right now, that contradiction is playing out in real time. The city holds over $1 billion in reserves, while public schools are being forced to cut the very people and programs our kids rely on every day. While others debate new taxes or rush to vote on closing our schools, we know the $1.2 billion in reserves is the immediate solution to keep our staff in place. We thank the council members standing up against these rushed decisions, and we urge you to use that rainy day fund now to give our families the stability we deserve. And for me, this isn't just about numbers, this is personal. My child is kind, curious, courageous, but also anxious and still finding her confidence. Because of that, the people in her school building matter deeply. It matters that when her teacher is absent, Miss Hamilton, a building substitute she's known since kindergarten, is there, someone she trusts and feels safe with. It matters that Miss Staton, one of only 2 climate support specialists, greets her with a hug in the morning. Not just my child, but so many children who need that sense of belonging to start their day. And when my daughter faced bullying in kindergarten, Miss Staton was there for her and for me, helping us navigate that moment.
Ma'am, I'm
with care.
sorry. I hate to do this, but I need you to summarize. Yep.
Without full funding, schools will face real disruption. Larger class sizes, fewer supports, and fewer trusted adults. A $75 million investment would protect more than 500 essential staff, building substitutes, climate staff, and teachers, the people our kids rely on every day. We call on you to use every tool at your disposal to reach $75 million to fully protect school-based staff and prevent cuts across all schools, as well as require the district to release preliminary budgets so that school communities and elected officials understand what's at stake.
Okay.
We know City Council has stood with parents before, and we're ready to stand with you again to get this done. Thank you.
Is there anyone else here from Lift Every Voice that came to testify? How many more people from Lift Every? Come on up. Let them, David, I got you. Come on up. Let's get Lift Every Voice, all the Lift Every Voice folks now. State your name for the record. State your name first.
My name is Aaron Spence, but I'm reading on behalf of a member, Siani Bowling.
Hold on, I'm sorry. Say it again.
Aaron Spence.
You may begin with your testimony.
Hello, my name is Siani Bowling. I am from West Philly, a founding member of Lift Every Voice Philly, and a proud parent of a Philadelphia public school student. I'm speaking today on the budget cuts. Right now, we are facing a dreams and nightmare budget. On one side, the city is holding over $1 billion in reserves. On the other, our schools are once again being asked to do more with even less. We thank you for your leadership to slow down the facilities plan as we work together to plug this budget hole. The threat of 17 school closures being rushed through this Thursday is a distraction we can't afford, and neither is waiting for a new tax to pass. The solution is already in the bank. That $1.2 billion in reserves should be the first tool we use to keep our staff in place. The cuts that are being proposed directly affect essential workers such as climate staff and building substitute teachers that help keep schools running day to day. Without building substitutes, when a class permanent teacher is absent, there will be no one to cover classes. That means lost learning time, larger combined classes, and more chaos in the building. Our climate staff are also essential, keeping our children safe. They are the adults who make sure students can safely go to the bathroom, who supervise our hallways, lunch and recess, and who step in to support classrooms when needed. Our schools would fall apart without these essential workers. As a child care worker, I see every day that you need enough adults in a building to safely support children so they can continue to thrive in their learning environment.
Sir, we need you to summarize.
The city has the resources right now to prevent the chaos. The mayor's proposal only covers 60% of the school budget cuts, leaving more than 200 positions at risk. We need you to use every tool at your disposal to reach $75 million to fully protect school-based staff.
Thank you,
I'll
sir.
end there.
And can we give all the people from Lift Every Voice a round of applause? We truly appreciate the work you've done. We want to thank you for your advocacy around bringing joy to the school district. We appreciate you, your important advocacy arm, and we love what you're doing to fight for our children. So thank you all for being here, and thank you for your patience. We appreciate it. Please state your name for the record, and you may begin with your testimony. Are you next? Excuse me? Are you next? Are you on the list? Did you sign up?
I did sign up.
Okay.
I wasn't sure of the order.
Member Thomas, David Alexander Jenkins. You know, I came in and sat here for 6 hours because I'm a concerned citizen who lives in Rittenhouse Square who always sees the white elephant in the room. And is that if I want to buy a home, you guys will give me a 10-year tax abatement for which I can put marble floors down and look at a beautiful view of the park, and then take from the city almost $130 million out of the budget every single year. And while children starve, try to figure out how their parents are going to go to work, they can't get to school, I get to have a fabulous view and a wonderful martini from my bathtub while people can't be educated in Philadelphia today. So I want to thank you guys for the work that you do tirelessly, because you're handed a lemon and you have to make juice out of it. But I think I would like to say, please tax me. Please tax my neighbors. Please ask us, who you give the benefits to do our job in the city of Philadelphia, to put money back into the system which pays us, so that the people that we educate and graduate, who then work for our companies, we've actually paid for in the first place. So that's all I wanted to say.
I don't know if I could have said it better. Thank you, sir. We appreciate your testimony. Means a lot more coming from you than us. State your name for the record, and you may begin with your testimony.
My name's Eden McDougall.
Hold on, say it again.
My name is Eden McDougall. I'm reading a comment on behalf of a family friend who works for the district. Her name's Lydia. She couldn't be here today. She has to say, we're trying to send the message to our students that learning doesn't stop when they step off the school campus, that opportunities for growth can happen anywhere and at any time. The current student fare restrictions fly in the face of that message and further exacerbate the economic inequity that Philadelphia children are forced to live in. If your family has the means to pay for your commute, the sky's the limit for you. If not, good luck getting on your last ride by 8 p.m., and that's only if you happen to live past an arbitrary cutoff radius from your school. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Has everybody here signed up?
Yes.
Amazing. Please stay, before we keep going, I just want to take a moment to commend the people from the mayor's administration who are in the back that are still listening to all of the public comments. So know that it's not just city council listening to everything that you're saying and have sitting here waiting. We also have members of the administration that's listening to everything that's being said. Please state your name for the record and you may begin with your testimony.
Ana Victoria Sandoval. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having a time to voice my opinion as well. Just like many of us in this room, I have a lot of hats that I wear, but today I'm here as a parent, an alumni from the district, and seeing the closure of the schools happening, like for example, Bach, but also the lack of movement that has been seen in the School of Southwark. I myself am a mother of 3 kids at Southwark currently, and I just want to voice that I'm also a parent from the SAC leadership today. And just as we all have seen, the crowd has gotten less and shorter because of time. All I would like to say is that we really need you guys to answer questions and give us...
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, that's not it. I'm sorry. Yeah. We're going to pause for 1 second, all right? Just 1 second.
Oh my God. Yep.
All right, I'm sorry. If everybody, I know everybody's a little anxious, and it's beyond any of our control. So if we could we're gonna try to expedite this a little quicker than what we would normally do, all right, folks? And I'm apologizing for that, all right? But we do gotta expedite this a lot faster. All right, go ahead.
I would just like to ask for the folks here today to give us actual answers instead of giving us a roundabout on like what is the time limit for when we're actually going to get a yes or no for the fixing, or for Southwark to be approved to get an annex, for approving to get the funding for fixing our bathrooms. We keep hearing you guys talking about how our kids' future is right now, and we want answers now. So we thank you for your time. And I'm also going to be interpreting in English for one of our parents that we have from Southwark, so they can also give you their points and opinion on what's going on. And I'm sorry if I'm rambling. It's just that there's so much things that were happening today that, you know what, it gives that mind of openness of like there's so much that needs to be fixed, and we from Southwark are focusing on mice. And as we saw today, there's mice here too. So like, what are we doing? Where's our money going? And yeah.
So I was trying not to say that on the record, but since you already said it on the record, anybody who's uncomfortable, please know that you can submit your testimony in writing to us. If you do not want to stay, if you're uncomfortable with anything that's happening, you can submit your testimony in writing. We promise you we'll read it, and it will be the equivalence of if you testified here in person. So thank you for go ahead and putting it out there, the elephant in the room. Is it an elephant in the room? Oh, Lord. Please state your name for the record to begin with your testimony.
Buenos días. Buenos días. Sorry. Buenas tardes. Sorry. I'm here science this morning, so yeah. Buenos días. Mi nombre es Tania León Lucas. Soy madre de 2 estudiantes de Southwark Elementary School y mis hijas están en 6º y 3er grado en el programa bilingüe.
Good afternoon. My name is Diana Leon Lucas, and I'm a mother of 2 students at Southwark Elementary School. My daughters are in 6th grade and 3rd grade, and they're in the bilingual program.
Estoy aquí para hablar sobre nuestros hijos. Nuestros hijos merecen asistir a escuelas dignas. Mis hijas han tenido que aguantar todo el día sin ir al baño y cuando llegan a casa llegan desesperadas corriendo a hacerlo.
I'm here to speak out for my children. Our students deserve to have a safe and decent school where they don't have to run home just to use the bathroom and have good conditions of the bathroom.
Me han contado que hacen largas filas en los pocos baños que funcionan con niños pequeños, esperando, aguantando y teniendo accidentes mientras esperan.
They have told me time and time again that they have to wait in long lines in the bathroom just to see if that they can go to the bathroom, and in occasions they have accidents while waiting.
En realidad la situación es mucho más grave que esto. Por ejemplo,
in reality, the situation is much worse than what I'm speaking. For example,
Mis hijas me han contado que han tenido que soportar el olor de ratas muertas durante varios días dentro de los salones y que han visto ratas corriendo de un lado a otro en los mismos.
My daughters have told me that they have had to endure the smell of dead rats in their classrooms and also having to see running rodents from one side of the classroom to the other.
Y se han resbalado en los pisos que están inundados con aguas de inodoros.
And they have slipped into bathrooms with the floor flooding of toilet water.
Yo tengo un par de preguntas.
I have a few questions.
¿Ustedes creen que es correcto que nuestros hijos tengan que ser expuestos a pasar vergüenzas, miedos, ansiedad y humillación?
Do you think it's right for our children to have to be exposed and shamed with fear and anxiety and being humiliated with these things happening?
¿Por qué nuestros hijos tienen que pasar por
I'm
estas
sorry,
vergüenzas?
we need you to summarize. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna finish with this. Hoy venimos a exigir soluciones reales y rápidas para Southward School.
We're here demanding solutions, quick ones and real ones.
Nunca imaginé que tendríamos que luchar por condiciones básicas de sanidad y seguridad en la escuela de nuestros hijos en Estados Unidos.
I did not think that I would have to come here and have to ask for basic necessities of sanitary here in the United States.
Exigimos que en el siguiente presupuesto decidan que sea mayor para control de plagas, baños que funcionen y para llevar a cabo renovaciones y anexos de construcciones para nuestros hijos que son el futuro de esta ciudad. Y el futuro merece baños y aulas dignas. Gracias.
We demand that the upcoming budget be increased for pest control, for a better future for our kids in the city, and for diversifying our bathrooms and having an annex. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I just want to acknowledge the work of City Year Philadelphia. I'm a former member of City Year Philadelphia. I served 2 years as a project manager when they first came to the city of Philadelphia, so continue to keep up the good work.
Hello, my name is Zach Strasburger. I am the parent of 3 children who have attended or will attend Southwark School. Southwark is a community school that stays open longer for working parents as part of the mayor's Extended Day, Extended Year program. But you've heard about our bathrooms, where sewage water drips through ceiling tiles onto students, where there's no real cafeteria or kitchen, where students eat in a basement next to the largest bathroom in the building, where the air smells like sewage and makes the kids sick, where students see rodents so often they name them Mickey and Minnie. My youngest child is supposed to start at Southwark this fall, but they have autism. They use the bathroom independently, but they aren't going to be able to wait 10 minutes for an open kindergarten stall or wander the halls looking for an open toilet. My kid won't be able to leave the building to go use the proposed modular toilet behind the school. Does this mean my child can't attend Southwark because of the bathrooms? Where in the IEP do I say, improve skills at recognizing unsafe bathrooms as measured by sewage coming out of the floor? These problems aren't new. My 4th grader doesn't understand why I'm here today because he says the conditions have been bad for so long and he doesn't expect better. But I asked him what his little siblings should do entering kindergarten, and he said we should spend the summer teaching the youngest to avoid puddles on the floor. That's not acceptable for either kid. My 4th grader shouldn't feel that nothing will change, and he should feel worthy of working bathrooms. Please help.
Thank you very much.
Good
Please
afternoon.
begin your testimony.
Good afternoon, Council President Johnson and City Council members. My name is Davia White Walton, Council President. You might know me as the Fresh Princess.
I thought that was
I'm a City Year Student Success Coach at Hardin Middle School, which is in Councilmember Cutsy Lozada's district. I also reside in West Philly in Councilmember Gautier's district. I support Ms. Teresa's Carr's 8th grade English classroom every day. She would have loved to be here in person, but she's currently supporting in the schoolhouse during the PSSAs. That reflects the kind of teacher that she is. I'm grateful to have the chance to share her words with you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Teresa Carr, and I teach 8th grade English at Hardin Middle School.
My journey in education began when I served as a City Year Philadelphia Corps member at Roxborough High School in 2023. That year introduced me to this city and showed me how meaningful it is to share my love of literacy with Philadelphia's creative and thoughtful young people. This is my second year teaching at Harding, but the first year I have welcomed a City Year Corps member, Student Success Coach Davi, into my classroom. As a former Corps member, I knew City Year was valuable, but even I have been struck by the difference her presence makes. Coach Davi occupies a role that teachers cannot replicate. Students see her as a mentor and guide. While I lead instruction, she moves through the room, helping students navigate hurdles, offering different ways to engage with the lesson, and giving encouragement that feels personal and motivating. Because of the trust she builds, her support accelerates students' learning in ways that are both immediate and lasting. At Harding and across the school district, we need all hands on deck to support student achievement. City Year members are not extra. They are essential partners in building strong and consistent relationships that help students thrive academically and emotionally. Now that I am a teacher, I see even more clearly how City Year strengthens school communities, supports students' well-being, and introduces young adults to the possibility of a career in education right here in Philadelphia. That concludes my testimony from my partner teacher, and I place my Davia hat on again to say that I'm happy to announce that I will be returning to City Year for a second year, and I plan for my long-term goal to be a guidance counselor in Philadelphia. Thank you.
Keep up the good work. But what about your rap career? You're going to continue, right? Right with you? Fresh Princess, what are you?
It's funny, my kids just found out that I rap, so they've been beating on desks, and I've been following those beats, so I'm still going.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mama Gail, you coming up now? All right. Is Kendra Brooks here? You know Tasha Taylor from South Philly, right? Yeah, Wilson Park. Yeah, nice. I see her up Nicetown now, out there being a super activist that she is. Yeah, you from downtown. Oh, nice. Come on up, sir. Say his name for the record, please.
John McKay, Cherie Lewis, Ronaldo De Jesus, Ashley Redfern.
Keep calling them up then, keep going.
Horace Clouden, Leah Clouden, Mama Gail Clouden,
From swimming pools.
Hi, I'm Cherie Lewis, a West Philadelphia resident. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm just here as a resident, as a parent. I'm currently employed at the IRS, and I'm also a disabled veteran. I'm saying that on the record to say that if anybody understands budget allocation and things of that sort, it will be me. With that, I had a speech here, but after taking in the hours that we've been sitting here, it's kind of derailed, so I'll just kind of running through it. I just find it very, I'm trying to find a word I find it very hard to hear when they were asked about financial reports, and then it was just said, well, it's online, it's on the website, but not to be disrespectful, but just to talk grounded here. There was reports that 50% of Philadelphia adults in Philadelphia were functionally illiterate. So if individuals are functionally illiterate, that means they're not able to comprehend what it is they're reading. So if they're not able to just comprehend words, let alone numbers and that type of stuff is going to resonate with them. Also, education lays in a layered ecosystem with primary funding be state, federal, and local. I just, as a numbers person, it's just not making sense. I need to see the full scope, and I'm not putting blame on anyone. I'm saying that with a numbers background, what I'm seeing doesn't add up. And it may not be a funding issue, but a structural and prioritization issue. So I'm asking that we see like a full reconciliation before we make anything. What we need right here, before we make any, like, new plans, new tax, anything, before we go forward, we need everything before we can accurately assess what we're doing. Philadelphia is no longer in the space of doing things blindly. We need to know what we're doing, how it works for us, and how we're gonna move forward.
Thank you very much. Please say your name and begin your testimony. How you doing, sir?
Hey, good evening, good evening.
Always good to see you.
Thank you. My name is Horace Clouden. You know, for those who have the papers and other people who have the paper, there's a rush for this plan because the first planning year, there's $1 billion on the table. $500 million for design work and $500 million for no description of work. So that's what's on the table. That's why they want to hurry up and sign this thing. You know, we have solutions. We've been at the board for years with solutions. The solution is to move the children. You know, but we say bring back junior high schools, 7th, 8th, and 9th. These K-8s are failing track schools because there's too many grades to manage, and they are in elementary schools. We say bring back the 5 closed swimming pools. No need to create a new location at the tune of $70 million, what they would call a super site. Don't invest $50 million for 2 schools over 100 years old with low enrollment and poor test scores. There are other neighborhood schools nearby. Stop creating swing spaces because the staff doesn't want to travel to another location at the tune of $40 million. Don't build 4 additions to improve capacity. K-5, $35 million, K-4, $35 million, K-8, $59 million, and K-5, $27 million. Bring back the building trades south of Broad Street, Bartram, Overbrook, Sayre, MOK, and Roxborough. There's a lot more to say, but I want to say the next 10 years, they're neglecting half of the city. That's what this 10-year plan is all about. So you have the data, and just think, this is the board doesn't want to micromanage the district, but somebody has to micromanage the district. So with that.
Thank you. Mama Gail. My legal name is Gail Clouden, but I'm sitting here for the ancestors because to sit here and hear what we're hearing, this is like the 60s, 1960, 1965. I ain't gonna talk about 1920, but to hear and know that our children can't read, write, do math, tell time, sign their name in 2026, and we talking about what, 2032? That's a problem. Strawberry Mansion High School does have other students in the building. For everybody's information, there's 2 other groups upstairs in the building. We have to do a better job. I want to bring the elephant in the room, and not because I'm racist, but I'm a realist, and our ancestors won't let me sit here and be quiet. My husband loves doing data. And the data says that our children are doing worse than anybody else's children. I don't care what setting this is. We got to talk about the schools in the Northeast. Because when we were younger, people were trying to go to the Northeast to get a better education. And so here we have everybody going, or many going over there. We've been saying for years, bring our children back home. This should be about equity at this point. This should be about equality, and it's not that. When they just built a building over 129,000? Excuse me, 129 million. They just built that building. They're getting ready to build another building in the Northeast. You keep saying, we got too many children in one school and not enough in the other. I mean, y'all are smart. I mean, come on, stuff doesn't make sense. Bring our children home and make sure everything is equitable. K-8 schools have not been working for our children. Our older children are slowing down, and I'll say it this way. The large students stand in lines like babies in 7th and 8th grade. They're too big for the schools that they're in, and when they get to high school, they're in the halls because they don't fit. What is it, how many, is it 92-minute class or 90? A 90-minute class for some child who's been in elementary school from K-8 is too much. Please, hold people accountable on every level. Please do that for us and for the ancestors. I'm always going to speak on your behalf. Heal our families, y'all. Heal our children. Heal our land. We built it, but guess what? When you go up and downtown and in the neighborhoods and you see who's building, where are we? Bring back vocational ed so we can be part of this again. We know how to do everything. Bring people here that know how to teach us. What you don't know, many of you, is that many of the people that are in the class, are not teachers. They're not educators. They're people on certified emergency certification. If they're not teachers, how do they teach? And we see how they teach by the data. We got to get some real people in there that know how to teach. Peace and love, family. Thank you. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Leah Clouden. My question to the city council and to all of us, when do you stop being polite in a disrespect? You know, my opinion, this is a land grab and warehousing. Data have shown since 2010 or 2013, whenever they closed the school down, all the way up into now, we already saw that it was a failing system. We already know that you can't have confidence in a school district because they are not people of their word. When they closed the school down, they were supposed to send the resources to the schools. Never happened. They phased out school. They've been in the practice of phasing out school. So if you're wondering why schools are underpopulated, more than likely they were phased out, just like Strawberry Mansion. They were supposed to send the children back into the school, but it didn't happen. I'm just tired of just the lies, the disrespect. You already know. You've already seen that they can't be trusted. You already seen that not the superintendent, but you already see that the board president is fixed in his decision. So my thing is to city council, what are y'all gonna do about it? Because they're not gonna change. You have to force their hand because this is insulting to all of us. They decimated the communities. We see the children. They can't do basic math, read, write, sign their names, just basic phonics, just all of it. We see it. We see it when we go to the stores. I'm just tired of it. And if you're talking about taxing, we got corner stores that are having mini casinos in it. What are y'all doing about that? Go get the money from them. We see it in the gas station. Figure it out. Good, tax them. Charge them a casino license, whatever you got to do, but you know where there's money is. If you're talking about safety, even with the cars that are tinted windows, they look like little tanks. Like, where's the safety in everything? Where's the accountability in everything? Enforce the laws, then maybe you don't have to worry about taxing the people. And also, figure out a way to hold the school district accountable if you're going to give them money. Stop because they're not even holding their own people accountable. So that's it.
Stephen Bilski, Markia McClinton, Daniel Pioy, and Deanna Ramsey.
That's fine. 45 seconds. All right. You want me to go first? You go first. Okay. You can begin. Since protocol has already been established, my name is Ramar Pouncey, and I represent Overbrook Elementary School. I have been to every board meeting with the School District of Philadelphia since the inception of this facilities plan. The last time I stood before them, I produced to them an alternative to closing Overbrook Elementary School, which would have saved the school district $2.6 million. I sent the proposal to each board member, including President Streeter, as well as Dr. Watlington, and did not hear back from them.
I stood there in front of them and told them that my team of architects, developers, would be willing to look over the facilities plan because the math is not mathing. The school district needs to be held accountable, and I'm stating before city council and the members that are in chambers, and I'm putting it on the record, an audit needs to occur. As Jerry Maguire would say, show me the money, because I'm not seeing where their money that we have already given them over the decades has gone. The schools have been in poor condition for the last 40 years. I mean, I'm a graduate, so 40 years. We're still doing the same thing over and over and over again and putting a Band-Aid on something that can be totally fixed. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tasha Teller, and I am the Homeless School President at Edward T. Steele Elementary School, and I sit on a lot of different organizations. I wanted to bring up a couple of things that have not been addressed tonight. Like, for one, I'm a parent of 10, and I'm a grandparent of 20. 35% of grandparents are raising the school-age children that we are speaking about, but no one is putting them on the forefront. Where's the budget for parent involvement? Why is there only 1% of Title I funding going into parent involvement, and the school makes a decision on the part of the budget that the parent should be speaking to? So we have to look at that. We also have to look at the special education. Special education needs to be at the forefront of a lot of what's going on and happening in the schools. They are right now not talking about it, but I've been in some of the meetings for the year where they are phasing out. A lot of you don't know, they're phasing out emotional support. They are integrating those students into regular classrooms, and you haven't heard about it. I know because I'm there and I'm in the schools, which goes against mandates. Also, when we speak to the bathrooms, we need to speak about staff bathrooms as well. I'm in a school now that toilet hasn't flushed in 2 months. Okay? So we need to look at the whole dynamic. And also, bring the parents to the table. I'm hearing everyone speak, but I don't hear no one bringing us parents to the table. Everyone's lying about bringing the parents to the table. Bring us to the table. We're talking about our children. And everyone children in here who has a child, has a niece, has a nephew. Let's talk about all the children and bring the parents to the table. Stop making these decisions without us. Everyone stop making these decisions without us. The school district, stop making these decisions without us, because these are our children. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Daryl Bundridge. I'd like to begin by thanking you all, City Council members, for your continued support of City Year, our students, and our communities, especially for today like today. We're particularly grateful also for Council President Johnson being an ardent supporter. And City Year has been in Philadelphia for the past 28 years as a partner helping our students succeed and strengthening our pipeline of educators, civic leaders. I want to be clear, we see ourselves as well aligned with the priorities for the One Philly, One Future, One Plan, and we address that in the space of public safety and education and workforce development. We are providing mentorship, academic support, keeping our students connected to schools, increasing engagement, and saving learning environments. We know this because of the 120 students we have serving 7,500 students in 12 schools. 56% of those maintain 90% attendance or better. 70% of those showed improvement in grade or math assessments, in literacy and math. 88% of our students believe City Year, or our staff believe City Year has positively improved the environment. This, of course, we're doing with diverse support. However, our federal dollars, as you heard about last year, still are not keeping up pace with our level of support. So we're asking for your continued support in investing in us through our $1 million that you have provided for us to close the gap, stay in our schools, and continue to provide teachers to the pipeline and civically engaged professionals. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. I'm sure if Council President Johnson were here, he would say, shout out to City Year. So thank you very, very much. Is there anyone else here to testify whose name has not been called? Okay, seeing none, the chair now recognizes our Education Chair, Councilmember Isaiah Thomas, for a motion that the public hearing and meeting on the bills and resolution before the committee today stand in recess until Tuesday, April 28th, 2026 at 10 a.m. in room 400 City Hall.
Madam Leader, I move that the Committee of the Whole stands in adjourn until Tuesday, April 28th, 2026 at 10 a.m.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the public hearing and meeting on the bills and resolution before the committee today stand in recess until Tuesday, April 28, 2026 at 10 a.m. in room 400 City Hall. All those in favor of the motion will indicate by stating aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it and the motion carries. This committee will stand in recess until Tuesday, April 28, 2026, 10 a.m., at which time we will reconvene in room 400 City Hall. Thank you very much for being here.